Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigvald here and welcome back to our video. So in this one we're going to talk about Champions Arena, which in my opinion is kind of the most boring and repetitive game mode out of all of them, and I simply don't like it. And when I don't like something, rather than simply complain about how bad that thing is try to find solutions that could be implemented in theory, in my opinion, would fix it or at least make it better. And in this video we're going to do our best to pretty much theorize how we could make Champions Arena the best game mode in Injustice 2 Mobile. So first of all, the problems with Champions Arena are going to currently be quality over quantity. You're going to get far more out of how much you play rather than how well you play and how well you use your team. Simply who plays more is gonna have more points. And it's boring and uninteresting because most people are going to put trash defensive teams that are going to represent absolutely no challenge in defeating, because while they did introduce recently a system that makes you get some points when you're going to win a defensive battle, you're not going to lose any by losing a defensive battle. So if you get them, it's fine. If not, you can farm them. You're still not punished for having a bad defense team, and that's why everybody for the most part is spamming trash teams. And even if you have that one person putting up a good defensive team, you can just bypass them. And we're going to try and fix that. And the problem with those two things is that if you try and fix them, you might end up in a place where the game is going to be very pay to win in Champions Arena, and we're also going to try to keep that in mind. So look, here is the system that I tried to come up with that I think would fix / save or make it better at least. So when the season start, everybody's gonna have 100 points, right? Everybody from number 1 to all the way down to number 100, everybody's gonna start with 100 points. When attacking somebody, you're going to have the same fight system: 8 points, 6 points, 4 points, 2 points. When you're going to attack an 8-point fight, you're going to win it and win 8 points. Pretty much exactly how the current system is. Now, the defender, if they lose this battle over here, they're going to lose 4 points. Half the amount that you win, because the AI is playing the fight and they're at a disadvantage by default. So on, if you win a 6, you'll win 6, the opponent loses 3. If you win a 4, you win 4, the opponent loses 2. And if you win a 2, the opponent loses nothing, because I'm not a fan of kicking people that are beneath you in the scoreboard, and this kind of is a failsafe to prevent people in terms of getting to like literally 0 points. Like you go to sleep and then you wake up from 200 to 0 points. So if you're hitting down, the opponent loses nothing and only you win. And over here, the opponent loses half the amount of the points that you win. Now here's the interesting part. If you're going to lose a fight, you're going to lose and give the defendant exactly how many points you're going to win. So what we basically end up with is a system where both you and the opponent are gambling 8 points and winner takes all. But the opponent will get discounted half of the points because the AI is playing for them and it is not a safe fight by default. So this creates a high risk, high reward system that will make you feel rewarded if you win, feel like you earned it, and at the same time will punish you for a loss, encouraging people at the same time to put good defensive teams, so that if their defensive team wins, they're going to have a huge reward because of it. So how do we keep this from being pay to win? Because this is kind of the most direct player versus player interaction that we have in Injustice 2 Mobile, and this is a game with quite aggressive microtransaction, and the artifacts are going to be something that can really shift the balance here. We ban all the artifacts from Champions Arena. Look, hear me out. Artifacts are a great thing in Injustice 2 Mobile. Even though most of them are guarded behind pay to win or insane luck in drops, it's been an update that benefited everyone, because even the free-to-play players get at least Dark Metal cards, not Snow Globe, but that doesn't mean that we have to use artifacts in every single game mode. And it's annoying when you set up a defensive team, because, for example, I think I exited Champions or not. This is my defensive team, right? I have those characters in my defensive team. Now, those characters can't be used in attack in Champions Arena, but I can use them in other game modes. The problem is the fact that they're gonna have equipped the artifact that is currently on that character. So I need to be so sweaty to just go ahead and every single time I use this character in arena, in raids, in any other place, to simply remember to put back the Champions Arena defensive artifact, and this is annoying. And at the same time, this can create a very unfair environment for the free-to-play players, because there's some insane artifacts for Champions Arena. Like the one that we got in the last Contract Soul raid, I think it was the Prometheum armor or something like that. That grants invulnerability, heals from dots, and grants invincibility, basically Bitmagic Catwoman passive. There's simply some artifacts that should not have a place in this game mode, and it's simple. Remove all of them from this game mode. Remove the ability of players to using artifacts both when attacking and defending, and that way you remove this. And look, I'm not sure it's gonna hurt the profits of the game, because most of the people, 99% of the players, are not gonna build an artifact thinking that, oh boy, this is gonna help out my Champions Arena defensive team. So just remove the artifacts and we simply are going to not have that problem anymore. Now, with the artifacts removed, we might encounter a problem of lack of diversity in combat, and there's another way we can fix that. So when you're going to fight an opponent, the opponent's going to get some certain modifiers. I think those increase considering the division you're in Champions Arena, so there's going to be higher modifiers, but they just increase the attack and health of the enemy characters, which is not the most entertaining thing in the world, and doesn't do that much. So instead of that, we're going to introduce some modifiers. For example, constant damage, disabled healing, power draining hazards across the map, dot hazards across the map, disabling gears for 2 random characters in your team, lethal and crit immunity for the opponent, and so on. The point is having a huge list of debuff, and at the start of every single fight, you're going to be presented with 3 choices that you can only have after entering the fight, so you can't plan ahead of entering the fight to pick your team that's going to be best suited to handle the disadvantage in that fight, but you can at least mitigate the damage by picking a debuff that's going to be inflicted upon yourself, that's going to be the least detrimental to the team that you've already picked. And if you want to take the system even further, out of those 3 debuffs that are going to be presented for you, each one of them is going to have a difficulty category. For example, we're going to have healing disabled is going to be on the easy category. A small amount of constant dot damage throughout the entirety of the fight is going to be a medium difficulty. Gears disabled for 2 random characters is going to be hard difficulty. If you pick the easy difficulty, a modifier, you're going to have to plus 0 points after you win the battle. You basically get what you gambled for. If you're going to have the medium difficulty picked, you're going to get half the points you were going to attack in addition. For example, you attack a 4-point fight, you pick the medium difficulty disadvantage, you're going to get 6 points. You attacked an 8-point fight, you pick a medium difficulty disadvantage, you're going to get 12 points, plus half of the amount that you're already gonna get. And if you pick a hard debuff, you're going to get double the points that you're going to get. So this way it will really test players and make them push themselves to the limits to get more points, or make them play safe so that they don't lose the points that they have already gambled. And in order to make it less grindy and make it less impactful, though I think we already did it with a lot of the changes so far, we're going to make it so that all the teams are going to refresh on a 48-hour clock instead of a 24-hour clock, so the Champions Arena fights feel far more impactful, and each of the teams is going to be more relevant, and you have to be careful using it because you have fewer of them overall. And last problem we need to address is this thing. First of all, remove the ability of players getting this through pay-to-win mains. That's in order for this to work, that has to happen. And I don't think anybody's really going out of their way to buy energy tanks, and the bundles that have energy tanks included are not really worth it anymore. So I don't think anybody's pay-to-winning energy tanks in Champions Arena. But how we will do this system to have some use for this, they are no longer going to refresh teams, because that's a problem. We wanted to make it less grindy, this is in the way. Instead of that, you can, before a fight, equip an energy tank, and this will prevent the loss of the points in case you lose the battle. And it will get consumed regardless if you win or lose the battle, so that's It's also some of a high risk, high reward type of deal. It will get consumed regardless, but if you lose the battle, you'll not lose any points because you have used the energy tank. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to say about this video. This is how, in my mind, Champions Arena would be a better and more interesting game modes. Most likely I'm wrong about this, I don't know, man. Maybe people are mad because no more artifact use. They're mad maybe because of one team refresh part 48 hours, but I feel like those would be nice and impactful changes. And even if you don't agree with all this video, let me know in the comments what do you find interesting here, and what do you agree with, and what you think is total garbage. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!